Yo, 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 yo. Dave's here. Hi, Rodrigo.
Hey.
We're here with the Scattered Chaos podcast room with the normal four crazy people. Me and Rodrigo are on the mic today. We have Jeff sitting in the back thinking he's cool. And Tariq, well, we could have a whole podcast about Tariq, but we're not going to do that.
Not today.
Not today.
Not today.
Today's topic is kind of interesting. We went to the Giants game a few weeks back, and the topic that came up, actually, we were sitting and I was having a drink with Diet Coke, and I turned to Rodrigo. I'm like, Rodrigo, you're on the podcast with me next. And he's like, nobody wants to hear me. Nobody wants to hear me. I said, shut up, just pick an idea. So he's like, I want to talk about Uber. I was like, you want to talk about Uber? And I actually thought it was, after thinking about it, I thought it was a really good idea because a lot of people don't get first-hand experience driving for Uber, Lyft, Uber Eats, all that kind of stuff, and really get an understanding of what it's like. And it's interesting that as a limousine company, we get a lot of these guys that come in and say, hey, we want to drive for you, work for us and make good money, and then suddenly they want to go back doing Uber because they could pick their schedule and do all that kind of stuff. So the freedom of your schedule is kind of important for a lot of people. But Rodrigo, you did Uber and all that for a long time.
Not a long time.
Not long, but you did
Like
it when
6 months. But I understand. I understand that.
So let's first start, like, because everybody knows your story, how you got here with me and how you're sitting in this chair with us. But how about you talk about, like, the day-to-day, what it was like when you were living in Arizona, Orlando, doing Uber and Lyft and all that kind of stuff. And tell some stories. That's what we're here for.
Yeah. It sucks, bro.
Plain and simple,
Yeah,
it sucks.
It sucks. Long hours. You don't have time. You don't have time to take a break because you need to make money, and you don't make a lot of money for each ride. And it's completely different road in Arizona, in Florida, and here.
Yeah.
That's the reason I came here at the first time, because paying so much more.
Okay.
Because in Arizona and Florida, I was making like $100 a day, 120 in a good day, working 12 hours. And here I was making $300 to $400 a day.
Ooh.
That's a big difference.
And same amount of hours?
Yes, yeah, always. I work to my app close. That was my goal, because after 12 hours, they block you
Really?
for 8 hours sleep.
Okay. Well, at least they doing something right.
Yeah, so yeah. Yeah. So 12 hours, block your app.
Okay.
So my goal was never take a break.
Okay.
So slow hours, I stop to pee, to eat, and keep going. Always with the app on. Always with the app on, and taking ride after a ride. So, yeah, I have crazy stories.
Well, let's before you go into the stories. So you talked about Arizona and Orlando, doing 12 hours, making $100 to $120 a day.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people would say, well, that's not bad, but they forget that there's cost to that.
That's the problem, man.
Right.
And I'm a businessman.
Right.
You know that.
Of course.
So everybody buy the car, rent a car, and they just put gas in. Oh, okay, that's my. I make like $1,500 this week. Like, fuck it. No, you didn't make $1,500.
Right.
You need to deduct all the costs.
Sure.
And at that time, I was not a fleet manager. I understand a little about costs. So I was basically, because I was renting the car, I don't have the maintenance cost.
Sure. So you were renting a car from someone?
No, I was renting from Lyft, and at that time they have a program.
Okay.
And that was a good program for me, because I just arrived in America. I didn't have money to buy a car.
Uh-huh.
Didn't have credit.
Right.
So I rent a car. I think was $180 a week, something like that.
Sure.
But they have bonus. So my thought process was like, beat the bonus, pay the car.
Right.
The bonus in Arizona was $120 or $150.
Is that per day or per week?
Per week.
Oh, so you basically covered the cost of the
With the
rental,
bonus. So like you need to do like 35 trips in Arizona because it's lower. Here was 60, but it was a better bonus. But anyway, Arizona. Okay, Arizona. I was renting the car, so my cost was gas,
Right.
basically, because the rent was even. So every day I fill it up my tank, and I start the next day with the full tank.
Right.
I drive. I took a note from mileage, how
Okay.
many miles I did, how many hours, in the gas.
Okay.
So at that time, was really not profitable.
Okay.
Like, doesn't look like very nice. But I was tired of Arizona. Arizona sucks. It's too hot for me. I
Right.
love that place, but it's too hot for me.
Right.
I came from Brazil, so we're tropical weather. So,
Right. It
and
was
I
like a
always
weather
love
shock.
Orlando, so I'm going back to Orlando.
Yeah, the land of Brazil.
Yeah,
It's
land
like
of
a
Brazil.
mini Brazil there.
And for me, like, no, Orlando, no. So was the same thing, because I think minimum wage in Arizona is even higher
It's
than,
higher than Orlando.
but it was sucks.
Okay.
Same thing.
Same problem.
Like best day, like $120.
In Orlando too.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the guy say like, oh, in California it's great. It's great. Like they make a lot of money. So the first day I arrived here and I did Lyft here, I make like $430.
Damn. That's fucking
First-
good.
First month I make $11,000, $12,000, something like that. I don't remember, but that was
Damn.
like 12 grand.
But so let's talk.
That's gross.
That's some crazy shit.
Gross.
But let's talk about that, because you're talking about $12,000. Just to use the number 12,000
Gross.
gross.
It's crazy, right? Crazy.
Dude, I
big
can't
number.
even imagine.
No,
but
but-
you're working 7 days a week.
Yeah, I always work.
So if you're talking about, let's say, a 30-day month, and you're making $400 a day,
Yeah.
and that's after
No,
you
but,
pay-
but they have bonus, bro. That was the beauty, because
Okay.
they didn't have a lot of drivers. So basically, they have bonus, and the bonus was like, you make like 60 trips a week, you make like 800 to 1,200.
right.
That was a lot of
That's
money.
a lot
man.
of money.
Lot of money. So my car rent was $200
A week.
a week. So imagine like $200, and I was making like $1,000 in bonus.
Oh wow.
That was a fucking.
Now, were you
crazy.
only driving for Lyft, or were you doing for both?
No, I didn't drive for Uber. They fucked up my account there.
Yeah, they didn't allow. They didn't allow.
Nah, the Brazil. Oh my god, I can't go deep on this, man. But
Well, I want to.
So okay, so I'll tell you. What
Okay,
happened.
tell the story.
So when you ask a delivery in your house, some people. It's tough for me to say that, but that's the honest truth.
Okay.
You order alcohol in your house.
Right.
The motherfuckers take a picture of your driver license, and they apply for Uber under your name.
Seriously?
They do this kind of shit because people who have no papers, they use that driver license to create a new account and sell that account or rent that account. It's fucking shady shit, bro.
Whoa.
It's shady shit,
The black market of Uber and Lyft.
dude. And this is the part who people need to understand the risk to drive Lyft, especially like you're not gonna allow your kid to. My daughter never going to enter in a fucking Lyft without me
Right.
because you don't know that person.
Dude, it is so crazy to
They
think
have
about.
no background check in that shit.
Right.
Because they have background check on me,
Right.
but not in that person because
Right.
that person is like a random dude.
Right.
They have only they changed the picture of my driver license and put that dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the background check is on me. It's not on him.
Do you know what's crazy?
It's fucking shady shit,
Dude,
man.
Rodrigo, it's crazy because way back when we were talking. Back then, we were not allowed to, fucking get in anybody's stranger's car. It was always dangerous. Blah blah blah. Now everybody does it. Everybody does it. Sorry for the background noise. There's something going on
Go
outside.
there, Jeff.
And to see, I don't know. Sorry, but I don't know if you guys could hear it or not. But somebody's working on something outside.
So, and that's the beauty of Limo,
Right.
because our drivers have background check.
Yeah. 100%.
We don't hire like a
Random stranger. Yeah.
like,
No, for sure.
No, we hire good people, man.
Right. And I think that's what's really weird is that, the life of an Uber driver is definitely hard.
Oh no, it's not easy. It's not easy. And now it's even worse because Uber is ripped them off.
Even more now?
Oh yeah, because when I start was 30, 60. So
Okay.
60 for the driver.
Okay.
And now it's probably like 60, 30. 60,
Reverse.
60, I would say like 65. Then
They make
from each trip. So
Okay.
you spend $10, like $6 and
who is it?
So
No.
six
Okay.
650 go to the Uber,
Yeah.
and the rest go to the driver. That's not okay, bro.
No, dude,
And because here's the deal. That's the difference between Limo. We pay the drivers, but we pay the cost.
Right. They don't have to carry
Lyft don't pay the cost,
Sure.
and the cost is maintenance.
Yep.
And we talk about this because they create this mentality like, oh, my car is brand new, is only gas. No, man. Have depreciation of your car.
Yep.
Have like
Wear and tear
oil
on the
change,
tires.
and even IRS allow you to deduct 65 cents for each mile.
Right.
So you can take that base as a cost and say like, because for Limo I think is more than that.
Yes, it is.
Because it's a expensive car.
Correct.
If you get like a fucking Prius cheap car,
Right.
it's not cheap. Okay, Jeff. Okay, it's fine. I love you, bro.
Jeff got offended. Really? Do you see his face? He was like, "I'm killing you for saying anything about my Prius."
I love your Prius, Jeff.
Yeah.
I'll wash
Oh,
for
heart.
you. I'll buff it out for you.
Oh.
So
Payback by washing your car.
yeah. So okay, 65 cents. Let's
Right.
talk about this because to make like 300 today in San Francisco is possible,
Right.
gross.
Gross.
But you're going to drive at least 200 miles.
Minimum. Yeah.
So it's more, man. I would say like to make 300, you're going to drive 300 miles.
Yeah.
So-
That's a tank of gas right there.
That's 180 already
Yeah.
of cost.
Yeah.
Because the 65 like is oil change, gas, everything. So it's 180 already.
Right. Right.
So like
yeah. Well, how much are you really making?
so
No, I think
so
that-
you make like from 300 you make 120. So 12 hours you make $10 an hour. So that's bad, bro. In
Well, and I
California,
think
that's less than the minimum wage.
Oh, well, and I think there's.
If you flip burgers, you're going to make $22
I mean, in and out.
In and out, right?
You know, the crazy part is I think I think COVID made it not easier, but more. People were more willing to work for these companies because they get to work with their own schedule. They don't have a boss. You know, they get in their car. When they start and finish when they
Was
want.
good, man. Was really good.
Back in the day.
I make so much money delivering food and even I make more money delivering food than driving for Lyft and Uber.
Really?
Much more because of tips.
Oh.
I was fast as fuck.
Yeah. Well.
Fast as fuck, boy.
Fast and Furious.
Fast as fuck, boy.
Fast and Furious food delivery.
I
That
was
should be your
fast
company name.
Fuck.
Fast and Furious food delivery.
Yeah, dude, I was fast. How many
tickets did you get?
Nothing, bro. I drive good, but I was fast. I move fast, bro.
Right. Well, you're like the Tasmanian devil.
Yeah. So I like to park my car and run, grab the food. I want to bring the customer experience higher, man. So
Yeah, that's something that I have to say that you talk a lot about is customer experience. It's something that not a lot of people, not a lot of business people talk about actually.
dude, I remember going to Five Guys, and they have like a bunch of shit there, like sauce. Dude, I was making like between the time they give me the food,
Yeah.
I was bringing like a bunch of stuff and put inside the bag, and the customers see that, you know, like, dude, he bring me like hot sauce, he bring me this, that.
Right.
It's like this dude over delivering.
Right. Right.
Give me and it's always the same guys who order.
yeah.
So they order, they know, oh, Rodrigo is coming back.
Yeah.
So
They take care of you.
take care of me,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
$20, $30. So I was making so much money on tips.
But why do you think that so many people want to drive for Uber and Lyft? I mean, through your experience.
Okay, so you are not here. The other podcast when we recorded, Tariq didn't edit the other podcast. So I was talking with Jeff about this, and this is I hear in a podcast the guys I want to
The Brazilian guys.
yeah,
from
the Brazilian
Orlando.
guys that
Yep.
yeah from Florida.
Yeah.
I don't know where the Florida the fellas the
Okay.
name of the podcast, and they're interviewing guy, and the guy say have two kind of immigrants in
Okay.
America. It's Columbus and Cabral.
Okay.
Cabral discovered Brazil.
Okay.
Cabral went to Brazil to take all the stuff from there and go back to Portugal.
This is a real true story.
Yeah.
Okay.
Columbus
Okay.
came to America to discover the new world.
Right.
And a lot of Brazilians, they come here to be Cabral, to come here, take all the dollars they can from America and bring back to
back.
Brazil and fuck America. I'm leaving and I'm going to retire there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
yeah.
that's a bad mentality, man, because you come here to make money. You go home, you watch Brazilian news, you talk about Brazilian shit,
Mm-hmm.
you hang out with Brazilians.
Mm-hmm.
Learning the language is the last thing you want to do because you don't come here to stay here.
Yeah, you're
You
only
come
it's
here
temporary.
to take some money and
Take the resources and then leave.
exactly. So that's Cabral mentality.
Okay.
I'm Columbus, bro. I came here to stay,
Right.
to find a new world,
Right.
to
right.
find the place I want to
That's
live.
a great analogy, dude.
Right?
Great analogy.
So, and that's why I think people stay in Uber because Uber is temporary, and that's because when I came here to open my company, I talked about this the other time.
Yep.
So I didn't succeed, man. It
Yep.
was tough. Language barrier, challenges. You don't understand the culture.
Right.
It's tough. It's a lot of things. So, in my thought process, like, I need to make money in dollars, not in reals, because I can survive
Sure.
if
sure.
I don't have. So that's why I use that job
Right.
as the
Stepping
beginning,
stone.
stepping stone.
Yeah,
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 whatever.
yeah.
So I start driving for Lyft. I took my driver license.
Yeah.
And I start driving for them. But some people, they can't move forward
Right.
because they have the wrong mentality.
Sure,
They have the
sure.
language problem.
Yep.
So if you have the language problem, you don't progress.
Right.
You can't knock a door and say like, give me a job.
If you can't say it in English.
Even if you
Yeah.
have no papers, because you can knock the door and say like, I want this opportunity. You need to speak English.
Right. Right.
So these people have like wrong mindset. Even if you are here temporarily, you need to learn the language. You need to learn the culture. You need to hang out with Americans. You need to stay away from that communities like
that makes
where-
you feel comfortable.
exactly.
It's a comfortability
you need to
thing,
be
right?
outside
You have
of
to
your
be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting because we're not actually wavering away from our topic because it kind of all wraps together. But interesting thing is when my parents came to America, my dad didn't speak a lick of English. I mean, he knew a little bit, knew Hebrew, knew all these different languages because of, you know, obviously living in Israel. But his mindset was, I'm coming to America to live and build my future, right? So I remember him telling me that he started driving for my uncle who had the company first, and he would listen to country music because that's what my uncle listened to. And my dad said he didn't even know any of the singers, didn't even understand the words, but then started really entertaining and listening.
We were
And-
talking about this the other day, remember? Because I listen so many musics in Brazil I always love,
Right.
but I didn't understand. And we were talking like, now I understand
Now
the
you
lyrics.
understand it.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like my mom, she learned English through soap operas because
Yeah,
they
you
want,
told
but because they wanted to learn the language. What I've noticed this generation,
But they came to stay.
right? But I mean, there are a lot of people. Like let's take for instance Vander, who works for me, who's a phenomenal human being.
Yeah.
I mean, when he first started, he didn't know a lick of English, not even word. I mean,
He's 8 months.
he's 8 months in America,
And
and
he's already
he understands more than he speaks. That I give him. But what is he doing? He's going to get his education.
School.
He's going to school, and he's hanging around us trying to learn English. And to me, there's a generational gap where that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, but it's two different parts. Because here's the deal. We have, going back to the topic, okay? Old times, okay? Your father here. When you come back, old times,
Mm-hmm.
you have no papers
Right.
as an immigrant.
Right.
You arrive to America with no papers. Like 20 years ago, what do you do for living? Construction.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Home Depot. That sucks. Tough. This new generation arrive in the apps area.
Yeah, the
Era.
era. Yeah.
So, dude, it's so comfortable. Like, you drive a fucking automatic car. You come back from the country like stick. You're like, Brazil's on stick, bro.
Can you even buy cars with that are stick shift still?
Oh, yeah.
It's a special order.
Yeah, or a sport car. Like a-
Damn.
yeah, but anyway, so you drive like an automatic car. You never have had a automatic car there.
Right.
You AC,
Power windows.
power windows, like a nice car, and you start with Lyft and Uber, because Lyft and Uber you don't even need to get out of your car, because when you deliver food is a different challenge, because you need to park, you need to go there, you need to find a house, sometimes the condo, but it's so easy, bro. I have friends, AP as example,
Yeah.
he delivered newspaper,
Yeah.
you know,
Yep.
so this
That's what we did when we were growing up.
yeah. So when you were immigrant with no papers, you did like all the worst jobs people didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
And now they have this kind of jobs.
Right. Right.
So this kind of jobs is it's basically easy.
Yeah, you
but-
get in, you start the car and you drive. I mean, look at even
You don't
even-
need to be smart.
Yeah,
to
forget
do that.
about like, the apps. I remember the days where immigrants would come to this country and go work in the fields. And I mean, I'm not saying it still doesn't happen, but the majority of people that come here from other countries, not specifically like Central America, I would say, most of them just hop in a car and start doing Uber and Lyft. And so they're almost instantaneously making money without even having to think.
And it's easy, man.
Right.
And that's the reason. Remember how many people we interview for Amazon and they stay with 1 week with us.
Yeah. Yep.
Why? Why? Because it's a difficult job.
Because they're fucking lazy.
It's exactly.
People are fucking lazy
and now,
these
and
days.
now, like, you're struggling with the language. You don't have skills in America. That's why I start from scratch. I start from the bottom because
Sure.
I don't speak English. I bring my knowledge, but I can't use my knowledge if nobody knows what I do.
Right.
So
It's like Priscilla.
exactly, you need to start from the bottom.
Look at Priscilla. Priscilla had an amazing job in
Yeah.
Brazil. I mean, she was a dental
She's
assistant or something.
she's a doctor there.
Or doctor there.
Yeah.
I mean, and then she comes here, and unfortunately, and I love her
She
to death.
have the language
She has
barrier.
the language barrier, so she's really, unfortunately, can't do anything until she figures
She
out
learn.
English. Which
She needs to learn.
I got to give. If we could stop for a second, Priscilla is one person that I'm super fucking impressed with. Like I love her. She's a sister of mine, and I always.
But she
support-
clicked, bro.
Something clicked in her.
She came with a Cabral mentality there.
There you go.
She came with Cabral. She came like, I'm going to go back to my country.
Right, and I think it was like 6 months ago. We were
Yeah, a
there
year.
was
I would say a year, because
but there was an argument, right? Didn't you? You and I had a conversation that she needs to figure out what what she wants to do and how she's going to get there. And then you said to me, if I'm not mistaken, it's like I tried to keep telling her she needs to learn the English, and we were even playing around with Duolingo. You remember? I was going to learn Portuguese while she was going to learn English, and then she stopped. And then suddenly, like out of nowhere, it clicked.
She loved the country. No, she loved the country. She understand this is our house.
She found, but here's where I think it helped. She started going to the gym, and she was going to Crunch, and she met people who didn't speak Portuguese.
I think that helps a lot.
I think the problem is that you get comfortable staying with the people. Like I know, like my
I think the biggest part for her was family,
yeah,
and that's not a problem for me,
right.
because
You don't
I
care.
came here to take care of my family. My family is Priscilla, Laura. That's it. Everything else, I love my family, but they have their own lives. I have
Yeah.
my own life.
Yeah,
My life
very good point.
is taking care of Priscilla and Laura. For me, is the most important part, because one day my father is going to pass away. It's part of the process.
Right, part of life.
It's part of life, and I need to take care of them.
Right,
They are the most important part for me.
right.
So, in my opinion, Priscilla was super attached to her father. And in the beginning, she was calling him every night. And that started creating bigger gaps now, like sometimes 2 months,
Right,
sometimes 3 months.
right,
And it's not like she don't love, she's living her life.
right.
You need to move forward. It's not like you don't love your parents, but you need to look to your path.
Yeah, and I think it's
And
interesting.
a lot of Brazilians don't look to that.
And I was just
and they
going to
keep
say
like-
that they keep attached to the Brazilian
You
culture.
can see when you talk with a Brazilian guy, it's like, send me your WhatsApp. The WhatsApp number is from Brazil.
Right,
And they use, so, dude, you need to let it go. I tell them like all the time, the reason you still, but a lot of people know that number. So you are not fully committed.
right.
You need to be fully committed. Like, change your WhatsApp number, communicate the people you love, and move forward.
But I think
You
it's
live in
interesting.
America.
It's really interesting because like as a first generation American, I don't have the attachment to Israel like you have to Brazil, right?
Mhm.
So I talked to
I don't have to. but
right. No,
anyway.
I know, no, you don't have to Israel. I know, I understand.
No,
that.
no, no.
I
To
know.
Brazil.
It took him a little time to Yoda. But what's interesting is now that I'm hanging around with you and we're meeting a lot of Brazil, or I'm meeting a lot of Brazilians. I'm seeing that, and we're not just picking on Brazilians. This is probably every culture that has this kind of situation. But the reality is that when you are in a position where you come to another country, you've got to dedicate 100% to your success here, and that it's hard.
Be full commit.
Fully committed to being here, and I think it's interesting because you talked about it that not everybody is committed. They're still holding on to
Yeah, like you can be both
you can't
ways,
be
man.
90-10. You have to be 100 and 0. Because the thing is, if you don't commit yourself to making these changes to whatever, if you're starting to drive Lyft or you want to progress, you have to commit to whatever you need to do to get established. Now, the hard part is throughout the last, I would say 10, 15 years, probably 15 years, it's been hard for immigrants to get legalized here. And for whatever reason, politics aside, there are really good people that come to this country and just want to give a better life to their family, and they even can't do that because of the way the government's running, right? Like, so you have those people that are really, really trying, but they can never succeed because, unfortunately, there's a ceiling.
Yeah, we can talk about this, but this is something. If you come here in this kind of situation, is a choice.
Yeah.
You made that choice. You need to live with that choice. But working wise, the world is bigger than Uber. And I can tell from my Brazilian friends, America is bigger than Uber. We have so many people making money with Amazon, working with us here in the delivering packages, limo, like pizza,
Yeah, there's a lot.
In and Out pay good.
Right.
So you have other opportunities. You need to open your mindset and stay away from that. You were a slave there. You were just a number. It's sad.
Yeah.
They don't care. If you get a bad review, they're going to deactivate your account. Doesn't matter if you have a family to support. They don't care. You're just a number.
It's interesting. I think what's crazy is that there are so many other jobs. But as you were saying the list of jobs, the first thing that came to my head is, well, it's easier just to drive. I'm my own boss.
But we can give the example here in the garage. Because here's the deal. We did a calculation. If you make 300 on Uber and you drive 300 miles, it's 120 a day, right? It's $10 an hour, okay? We offer the job here for Vander.
Yep.
It's the minimum, and you go higher.
Right.
He's
not even a year with us, is he?
He's 6 months with us.
So
and he already made more than that.
He made more than that because he's been, but he
proved himself.
Right.
But this is the point. This is the whole point. I offer for Brazilians to come here and work the same job I did.
Right.
Like 4 years ago. And a bunch of Brazilians replying the Facebook group saying like, "Oh, this is bullshit. You need to pay at least 20." Like, I need to pay whatever I want. The company is ours.
Right.
It's not your choice.
Right.
You open your own company and you pay 50. Good luck for you, bro. I don't give a fuck.
Right.
So, but here's the deal. That's not the point. The point is like, a lot of people reject and say like, "Oh, this is bullshit because I drive for Uber and make like $25, $30 an hour." You don't, you dumbass. You don't.
Yeah.
You
look how
never
serious you get.
No, it pissed me off, bro.
Yeah.
Pissed me off because, dude, you need to start from the bottom, bro. You just arrived here in America. Get the opportunity, man. Prove your value.
Sure.
Vander make more money because he's badass.
Dude, he's solid.
But he understand. I just arrived in America. I barely speak English. I'm going to start from that. So he's already a boss, bro. 3 months later, he already have a person working for him.
Right.
But he believe in that opportunity.
Right.
These guys don't believe, and
he's a go-getter. I mean, you really want to talk about that. Like, dude, he's like
plus that.
He is. I mean, honestly, I think he is a duplicate of you in a different form, obviously, where he he came at an entry level, knew how shitty he was going to be, but then knew, hey, if I give more, I'm going to get more. And that's what he did. And now he's doing paint work, Bondo work. He's
crazy.
Doing oil change.
Like,
I mean, does
dude,
everything we need.
He's great, bro.
And
he's
he
great.
loves it. But see, that's the epitome.
He like to over deliver,
Right.
and that's the
There you
beauty
go.
of succeed in America. That's how I succeed with you.
Sure, 100%.
I over deliver.
day one.
I never deliver only what you pay me for.
Right,
Doesn't matter like, oh, he don't pay me for that. That's stupid mentality, man.
right.
You're never going to succeed if you don't show your skills.
But see, I think I want to say that this is the American way. Come to work, do what you're supposed to do, and go home.
Yeah, and they keep putting the videos on TikTok like, oh, don't over deliver. Your boss don't give a fuck. I completely disagree with that.
I mean, there are bosses that don't care.
But that's the difference
I mean,
between boss and leader, right?
Of
If
course.
you have a leader, he give a fuck.
Right.
If you have a boss, maybe probably you're right.
And I think that's the thing that I've always said since since growing this company and growing all the brands is that I don't consider I'm not a boss. I am a leader because I need to make sure you guys succeed. And I got to give you all the tools to succeed, because if you can succeed, then I don't have to be involved. And that's the thing. I think I was just having a meeting with the guys downstairs with the Amazon guys and what we were talking about on the phone. And I said, I understand the mentality of you just come to work and do your job. But if you want to succeed here, you have to over deliver. And it's not much. We're not asking you to go, under
You're going to make more.
Right. You're going to
If
make
the
more.
company make more,
You're going to
more.
make. And that's
simple.
And I told them, I said, you guys need to start stepping up your game, because eventually, and I told them, I said, the other person that we're not going to mention, she's outshining them. And I told them that. I said, we've been dude, we've been at Amazon for the last 6 days, 7 days, something like that. And there's only one person in there other than the three of us running around. Dude, Jeff was the first day was learning how to fucking load a van. And he didn't ask, oh, should I go do that? He just fucking did it. But that's the thing, that I think this is where the American way is that because we're so used to over delivering and not getting anything out of it in a lot of jobs. I mean, it's different here, but I can tell you, in every police job I ever had, I over delivered. I over deliver now. And there was only a few people that would ever acknowledge the fact that I was out there busting my ass. And as a worker, I didn't need the kudos. If I just wanted them to say, hey, I see you doing it. And I'm the worst when it comes to giving people kudos. I don't go around and I should be better at it. I'm not the worst. I'm just the worst. I'm not good at doing it more
You're
often.
Not fantastic.
Wow.
Wow.
Hmm.
But you're not.
You're fired.
You're not the worst.
Yeah. You're retired. It's one of those things that you just have to acknowledge people's hard doings.
You acknowledge, and this is the part that's kind of my job too, because I'm here all the time,
right?
And I can report to you,
right?
And I do all the time.
All
you
the
know
time.
that
All the time.
And you bring that person here, and you give some kudos because you are around, you travel a lot, and sometimes you don't see some stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
That's why I bring to your attention, because I think it's good for you to see who is over delivering.
Right.
Because that's the person who deserves so you keep in mind I'm going to give him a raise. I'm going to do something. And
something
you
nice.
do that.
Yeah.
You do that all the time.
I definitely use you as a way of being able to be my eyes and ears, because obviously
that's my job, right?
Right. That's really why you're around all the time. And that's why I bring you around to everything, is because for me, I can't handle managing and remembering everything.
It's a lot.
But, going back to the whole Uber Lyft thing, I just feel because it's so easy to get in the car, people just gravitate to it rather than thinking, because listen, I understand there are people that come from other countries that just don't have education. They're not, they don't have the drive to progress. But when I see we had a driver in Vegas, the young Asian cat, he was so well spoken, and I'm thinking to myself, I wanted to ask him is this your full-time gig? And I didn't even get to it because he was so well spoken. We were talking about things, and I wondered is the gig economy um, really doing any good for society in general, because like it doesn't take a brain to drive, doesn't take a brain to deliver, right? Truthfully, I'm not talking about Amazon, because Amazon is a little different. Amazon is physically hard, and you have to use your brain a little bit because you're using technology to make you do your job. But you know, we're losing people to this gig economy because it's just easier. I don't have to. Nobody's my boss. I can get up when I want to.
Yeah, but it's sad because they're taking advantage of that people because they don't know how to run numbers, bro. They're not business people because you are your own LLC.
Right.
You are a sole proprietor.
Sole proprietor. Yoda.
That's hard word.
Sole proprietor.
I'm not gonna
try it. Sole. Pro. Pri. Ter. Proprietor.
Sole proprietor.
There you go. But you know how it's so
great.
Yoda, you're doing good.
I'm doing good. So
I good doing.
Yeah, because
I good doing.
Here's the deal.
I good I am.
And that's exactly. So that's exactly why you received that 1099 form.
Yeah.
At the end of the year, because you were your own company.
Right.
And we're talking about write-offs. We're talking about a lot of things they don't even know, man.
And the worst part is, you know, there are a lot of people that, my dad used to do it, not even pay taxes. That's another part of the conversation.
Yeah,
because
we're talking, but have two kinds of parts. Because two kinds of people. Because have people who have no papers and they don't pay tax.
Right.
Because
who's going to come after them?
That number is fake.
Right.
The Social Security number is fake. So it's a whole new level, bro.
Right.
And that's why you understand when a American guy is upset because he need to pay taxes.
Right.
And an immigrant make like $100,000 a year
and not pay taxes.
Yeah, that's $100,000 like gross.
Yeah.
Anyway, like let's say 50 grand.
But it's 50 grand.
50 grand with no tax.
Right. Right.
No American.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah. So it's go worse than that, because why we pay medical to people who doesn't pay?
Oh yeah, of course.
The medical bills.
Right.
And that's the same people who go to the hospitals, get a bill and say like, fuck you, hospital.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pay.
Yeah. It's interesting, dude.
IRS is not going to chase me, man, because the number is fake.
And it's funny, you know, and if I may say this, this is coming from somebody who is immigrant. I mean,
it's fine. I can speak.
Yeah, because I can't say this shit because I've been canceled already. It's cancel nation. I mean, but I do believe in what you're saying, because I think it's interesting, because like have to pay a lot of taxes.
I pay a lot of taxes. It's not cheap, bro.
It's not cheap. It fucking sucks.
It sucks to pay taxes. Nobody likes to pay taxes.
Yeah.
But they take advantage of that.
Yeah.
So it's even paying no taxes, they still don't make money.
Right.
They still don't make money.
Well,
you don't see like a guy driving for Uber and he's rich. You don't see, man. And because they have that mentality like, oh, I made 100-something grand last year. That's gross, dumbass.
Right. But do you remember when we were in Orlando? We went to the sushi place, and we were sitting and I was eating, because you don't eat sushi. Flashy people.
They are flashy.
And we're again talking about the Brazilian community.
They drive for Uber, and they have Louis Vuitton bags. It's not fake shit, bro. It's original.
It's more for the clicks.
Like iPhone, whatever, the last one, and they have like a Gucci shoes and that kind of shit. It's for the Instagram, man.
Yeah.
It's sad, bro.
It's crazy.
It's sad because they make the money. They make the gross money.
Yeah.
Because they don't understand the net and gross, the difference. And I make like $3,000. I'm going to spend in a purse.
Right.
And they live like 10 people in a house.
Right.
Dividing rent. So it's like $300, $400 for each person. So it's cheap. So they're basically poor as fuck.
Right. They don't realize it. You know what's interesting?
It's sad.
And we're going to turn a little bit topic, but I was watching the Colorado Deion Sanders team this weekend, and I don't know if it was halftime or beginning of the game. The opposing team's coach said they're out there playing for clicks, well, we're out here playing for points. And if you know what that means, that clicks like, likes. Because Deion Sanders is a pretty famous football player who now runs Colorado State's football team. He's kind of turned the program around. He turned the program around somewhere else. I don't remember exactly. But he's very flashy. And he's getting more popular because he's doing this. But what the other coach was saying is that he's out there wanting all the people's attention, where his team is not there for that. They're there to win. And they got their asses handed to them, right? I don't remember what the final score was, but it was fucking bad. But it's exactly what the point I'm trying to make is that they're out there with their Louis Vuitton and all this kind of stuff,
showing something
that they don't have.
They don't have.
Right.
It's empty mentality, man. Like you're trying to show, like, to Brazil, you succeed in America.
Is it like that in Brazil? Like, I mean,
here it's the same too.
It's the same way.
Yeah, it's the same. It's
okay.
the same. People, it's sad when you work to show people your value with material shit.
Yeah.
Because that's not what is important. What's important is how much you bring to society. I think in general, like how many people you help, how many jobs you give.
Right.
That's what's important in life.
Right.
It's not a material shit, bro.
You know what's crazy though?
You like good shit. But
we all do. But you know what's interesting? Every time I talk to somebody, they're like, we'll be talking about homes, and they'll be like, "You still rent?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but why?
I'm smart.
Why am I going to go spend $12,000 a month on a mortgage for the next 30 years?" I mean,
we talk about this.
Yeah.
So I'm going to rent for the rest of my life. I don't want to.
I mean,
I don't want to have like
I don't understand it. I mean, do I want to be able to say I have my own home? Of course, but like,
Dave. Doesn't change shit.
True.
I have my apartment in Brazil. Doesn't change shit.
I mean, it's different. I think for like somebody like you, Jeff, who you've had the house for a long time. You bought the house. It was still proportionally expensive at that time, but I think it's beyond reach at this point now, right? I mean, the game is different. Like, I remember, I think Mike and Laura's house, you've been there. It's like worth $2 million, $3 million, and they bought it for like 100-something thousand back 30-something years ago.
The game changed. The old time, you have a job. You go to college, you have a job, and you buy a house for your family. My mom didn't work. A lot of moms didn't work.
My mom didn't work. No.
So your father alone can support the family.
Sure.
He can buy a house.
Right.
So the world changed, man.
Yeah.
These kids cannot afford to buy the house.
Right.
Like, we're talking about this. Your daughter, like, she's sharing rent with friends because she can't afford to pay the rent alone.
Right.
She can't afford to have because the world is fucked up. Everything's so expensive.
You have inflation. You have everything.
You have a
Gas
lot
prices.
of things. You have a lot of things. So the world changed, and you need to adapt. So I don't want to have a box, my own box to live.
Right.
And
right.
I like to be free.
Mm-hmm.
That was my biggest point when I came to America. I told my wife, like, I want to buy the house in Orlando. We talk about this because it's a special place for us.
Right.
But to do Airbnb, man, I don't want to
make
I don't
money
want to live
off
there.
Right.
And maybe close 20 days a year to go there and have fun, go to the pool and go to the parks, pursue love, and that's it.
Right.
I don't want to live there.
Right.
I don't like Orlando.
Yeah.
So, but as an investment.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, doing it that way is smart. And I mean, I think that it goes back to the,
passive income.
Passive income. And the thing is that the Uber Lyft generation of workers are not thinking long-term like that.
We have a bunch of guys who make a lot of money doing Uber and Lyft in the beginning because of the bonus, because they are short in drivers. So they need to beg the drivers to come. That's why I work in Uber when I arrive and I make so much money because I have so much bonus. I think it was like $4,000 a month in bonus, at least.
Damn.
So that was a lot of money. And the smart people who took that money, put in savings and start like buy some assets or investing the money, they start creating the money, the wealth.
Generational wealth.
Yeah. So that was the smart people.
Right.
But people who just waste that money like to buying like I'm going to buy a BMW and I'm going to drive to do Uber Black. That was dumb as fuck.
Yeah.
So because
I
it's
mean,
not like a big difference and like it's so bad.
Even worse now, it just came out a couple weeks ago that Uber is now partnering with Yellow Cab because because they're trying to get away from the Uber Black, so it's going to hurt the Uber Black now. So those guys that are relying, it's great for us, but it's for the guys that are driving Uber Black.
I feel sorry because that was a poor decision, man.
We have a couple guys that
drive for Uber Black is even worse than drive for regular Uber
Right.
X. Like it's even worse because the car is so fucking expensive.
Yep.
You're going to buy a brand new Escalade for 90 grand. If it's more, right? Because
after
90 grand
taxes,
is for us. But
yeah, but it's, I mean, you get
like 110,
95 to 100.
Okay, so $100,000 to make $60 to go from the airport to the city.
Yeah,
And your car, it's like $15, $20 in gas.
just in gas. Yeah,
Oh my God! And the brakes are expensive.
the wear and tear on
And
those cars.
that's why like when you drive for Uber X, between Uber X and Uber Black,
Yeah.
the gap is like you're driving a Prius. Like you can drive like a 2006 Prius.
Right.
It's the best car to do Uber because it's like
Cost,
40 miles a gallon.
Right.
And that car, like the brakes are cheap.
Everything
Everything's cheap. And you jump for a BMW. Oh, I'm going to do Uber Black, dude.
The cost of
instead of
repairs.
changing your brakes for $100, you're going to spend $350 or $400.
Right.
It's a big gap, man.
Yeah.
And that's the 65 cents each mile jump to 90,
Yeah.
95.
It's it's very interesting, getting a perspective from somebody who actually did it. And I think that, hopefully, the economy is going to rebound soon, in general. And I think that for the most part, we're starting to see a trend that it's starting to go up. We're still, quote unquote, in a recession and inflation is still up. But, getting a perspective from you who did it when you first came to America. And I mean, you made a lot of money. But at the end of the day, it was wear and tear on your body, your time. Eventually, when your family came home here, it was really hard because you can't work 12 hours a day and not be home.
I worked.
Right. You had to because you had no choice. And
The rent was $3,300.
Yeah.
That was like crazy.
Everything is way more expensive
That
here
time,
in the
so I was making money and go straight there.
Go straight to rent.
Yeah, and financing IRS because you didn't have enough savings to pay. Like you need to pay installments because you were short.
Yeah,
because all the money go towards the rent and food, right?
It's crazy. Well, hey,
that's cool.
Good podcast. Not too bad.
Not that bad.
Thanks everybody for watching. Thank you, Rodrigo, for being here. Scattered Chaos. We'll see you next week. I like it. Whoa.
Wow.
That was good.